We're speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me from Centex Sports Network. We're starting a new platform, Recruit 254. Our mission is to highlight the amazing student athletes of 254. So if you're in the Waco, Killeen, Temple, Mart, Marlin, or any surrounding 254 areas, follow this platform and join the movement. Recruit 254. 254, let's run it up.
My name is Emily Adams. I'm the marketing director for the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. We are here at our 3rd annual MAPS conference at the Waco Convention Center in beautiful Waco, Texas. I think the event has exceeded all of our expectations. We had an amazing turnout and great sessions and nothing but positive feedback. So this is our first conference in a convention center, and I'm used to working with hotels where there's like one person to talk to for everything. And so at the last minute, we realized we needed audio and video services. And so I contacted Lighthouse Streaming and Audio, and they were very quick to respond. They were able to, even though it was the last minute, they were able to fit us into their schedule, and they provided us with technicians and equipment to record our sessions, and we'll be able to provide the people who are speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness.
With us here today on Centex Primetime. I'm your host, Jalen Gillis, as we have a lot to talk about here today on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here today over on YouTube, Centex Sports Network / Centex Sports TV. Over on YouTube, you can hit that subscribe button. You can also click the bell and get notified whenever we go live here, 5 to 7 p.m. weekdays right here on Centex Sports Network. You can also follow us and subscribe on the website, CentexSportsNetwork.com. That is CentexSportsNetwork.com. You can find all of our content on there, as we had a chance to cover MCC softball, baseball, who are both in the national tournaments right now. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show as well. Also, you can find all of the content from Centex Primetime. Free subscription. Go on there, CentexSportsNetwork.com, and hit that subscribe button. Well, folks, like I said, we've got plenty to talk about here today on Centex Primetime as we jump straight into it today. We've got, obviously, the conference finals start tonight. Oklahoma City Thunder playing at home, taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll break that game down today. We'll also talk a little bit about the game that's going on tomorrow with the Knicks versus the Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals that's going on tomorrow on TNT, I believe. We'll also talk about some local topics. We'll talk a little bit about Baylor football. We'll talk about Texas Longhorn football a little bit today as well, too. So we'll try to cover a little bit of everything, and we'll talk some local high school sports as well. And also we've got to talk about some quick takes, just what's going on in the world of sports. So plenty to talk about here today on Centex Primetime. So, guys, buckle up as we just dive straight into it here today. Joining me for the conversation over the phone today, got a familiar face, a familiar voice to the show, Mr. PJ Gaither in the building with us. PJ, what's going on? See if we work on his channel, getting him on here. But like I said, a lot going on right now in sports, folks, as we get a chance to go straight to it. Want to talk about some local sports first before we get started here today. Like I said, MCC softball and baseball, both in the national tournaments, folks. These two teams definitely need all of our support, all of your support. So we'll be covering them on Centex Primetime as they go throughout this playoff journey. The softball team fell just short of a national title last year. They're looking to get back and to be able to come back with vengeance in this game that they have coming up. Believe they play starting this week. Also, Midway Panthers, their softball team, is also playing this week, believe on Thursday, as they are playing in the regional final against Flower Mound. So that is going to be a very good game as well, and we'll definitely be looking for updates. We'll definitely be looking for updates as we get further and further throughout the week on them. And as they get further and further throughout the playoffs, believe they play Flower Mound. So I'll always be rooting for my alma mater when it comes to any of our sports, but definitely supporting this softball team that is 29-2. 29-2, I believe, over the course of this season. So they've been playing phenomenal all year long. Look for them to be able to do the same as they get a chance to play on Thursday against Flower Mound as well. Like I said, we talked about both of those. Want to see if we can get PJ in with us over the phone here. PJ, can you hear us? Looks like we'll take a second and try to work out his audio. Like I said, both MCC baseball and softball teams are heading out to the national tournament. It is football season, folks. It feels like it's right around the corner. We're seeing spring games all around the city right now. We're seeing we saw University have their spring game where they playing against ones and twos, so you don't get the chance to go out there and play against other people and get that competition just yet. But in that spring game, they looked really good yesterday. They're young. They got a lot of young talent on this team. We talked about the young quarterback, Savoy Nichols, yesterday here on the show. Also, they've got one of the top receivers in the nation in London Smith as well. So getting a chance to see him out there as well was good with the rest of his team. This University team is loaded. We got a chance to talk with the head coach of University football on the show just a couple of weeks ago. It was he believes in his team, as do we. This is one of the more fun teams to watch in the Central Texas area. We talked about him a lot last football season right here on the show on Centex Primetime. And I want to get a chance to go out to a couple of those games as well this year, just like we did last year. Got a chance to see them against China Spring last year and watch that game, which ended up being a really, really good game. This University team is ready to take the next step in their football program. I believe their football program is ready to take that next step and is ready to go out and try to get some wins in the playoffs. They've been winning in the regular season. When we talked to Coach Foster, he said, hey, they're looking for more than to just win in the regular season. They're looking for a chance. They're looking for a chance to go out here and to be able to win in the big games. A chance for them to go out and to be able to compete in the playoffs against top-tier competition as well. And I believe that this University team will definitely be able to do that. Will definitely be able to do that as they get further and further throughout their season. Going into this season, like I said, London Smith, one of the top recruits. This is his senior year. I'm sure he's going to be looking to go out and to make a mark in this game. PJ, can you hear us on here?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, gotcha. So, PJ, we're just talking about some of these teams in the Central Texas area, talking about high school football and talking about this university team. This is a team that me and you, we kept our eye on a lot last year. Going into next year, they're returning a lot of their guys. The young QB, Savoy Nichols, everybody knows about London Smith, one of the top recruits, not just in Central Texas, but in the entire state of Texas. Uh, what do you think about, first off, how far this university team has come? Because you remember how the team was. I mean, just a few years ago, back when you were in high school and playing, and then some years before that, back when I was in high school and playing. Now seeing where this university team is right now, what do you think about their progress so far, and then them going into next season?
This is huge for for university. Definitely, just like you were saying, just a few years ago, or even a decade ago, when both of us was in school. I mean, they wasn't winning any games.
Yeah.
In any games. That's not even exaggerating. They were going 0-10 for like I think what 3 or 4 years. I know if you went to university and you're my age, they went 0-10. I believe like either 3 out of the 4 years we were in school or all 4 years. So just to see the program get back to what it is, where it's supposed to be at, really. There's so much talent, definitely throughout the entire city, but definitely through South Waco and just that whole area that of the kids that stay over there that can go to university. So they were supposed to be like this for a long time. So seeing them where they at now and seeing a lot of the kids that's playing on the team that we know, kids that we've been knowing since they were like 5 years old.
Yeah.
Like Savoy, a lot of those guys. Yeah, it's crazy to see them now. It's exciting, man. I'm rooting for them. I've been rooting for them for the last few years, honestly, because I seen it coming. But where they at now, though, is exciting. They got a lot of guys that's getting recruited. A lot of guys is going to be making some noise, I feel like, at the next level. So I'm excited to see what university is going to do this year. I think they're going to be really good. I don't really see too many teams that's on their schedule that's going to give them a lot of trouble, honestly.
Yeah, I see this university team having a lot of success, just like I thought they would last year, and they did have some success, just fell short when they got to the playoffs. Now they get to take that chip on their shoulder from losing last year in the playoffs, because, I mean, a lot of these kids are coming back from that team. They graduated some really good players, and they definitely lost a ton in the running back room. They had two really, really good backs last year. But with a lot of those guys coming back to the team this year, man, I'm excited to see what this university team can do. Like you said, some kids that we've been seeing play since talking about Little League football, 6U, 8U football, 10U football, and now getting a chance to see some of those guys really get a chance to shine out there on Friday nights. I talked a little bit about Midway and their softball team and how they're headed to the regional final in softball. But their football team, I think, has a chance to be pretty decent this year, going in the second year now in this system under their new coach. Last year they had a really good football year and a really good transition year, really from turning around from doing a lot of losing over the last few years, honestly. Trying to get back to that program that it was when me and you were at Midway, man, and trying to get back to winning football games again. I think they have a good chance to do that. They've got a lot of talent on this team. Yesterday I talked a little bit about Lathan Wyson, the running back there that's got a ton of offers already, and I think he's going into his junior year. Got offers from Baylor, Ole Miss, Oregon, Wisconsin, all these type of teams. I'm hoping Baylor got in early on him. I remember when Baylor offered him, that was like 2 years ago. I'm hoping, that sticks around, but that's just for my own personal use there, as I want Baylor to be good. But we see that trend starting to come back. We talked about it on this show maybe a few months ago, what Baylor has to do to be able to get back. They've got to get back to recruiting that local talent. Now you see London Smith, who's the biggest recruit in Waco, headed to Baylor. You see other guys that have interest in Baylor, like Jamarian Vincent at Conley, who we watched when he was just a freshman and sophomore over there at Conley. They got to be able to keep a lot of these kids intact. But we'll talk about Baylor in a second. What do you think about Midway and them competing next year in football?
I think they're going to be able to really build on what they kind of started last year, going 7-4 and finishing second in their district, 4-2. And that's another team that we got some guys. I mean, we got a nephew,
yeah,
Chicago, so I'm hoping that he's been working hard I'm gonna talk to him real soon. His birthday tomorrow, so I'm gonna talk to him.
Shout out
Just
Kobe,
kind of
man. Happy birthday.
see where his head at. Definitely going into the season. Going into the summertime, just seeing how he's going to be working and everything, and really just all them guys. This is the time that they really need to lock in. The summertime is the time that you lock in. I know a lot of guys, you get out of school and you want to go have some fun, but if you really want to be if you really want to be successful on the field come fall, you got to sacrifice certain things when it comes into the summertime. So, it's been plenty of times where I missed trips. I stayed at the house and it was working.
Yeah.
It was working out, because we wanted to be successful going into the season. So I'm not saying that all those guys have to do that, but you're going to have to sacrifice something. Definitely, if you want to really get on this field in 6A and be successful and continue to build on what the success that they had last year, definitely with the whole new coach regime and everything, I think they could be really good. And with the running back that they have that's getting recruited, they got a lot of other guys. I mean, the quarterback is pretty good. Jacoby playing with receiver. They got other receivers that's pretty good. They got a few good DBs as well, and some D linemen and O linemen. Midway always going to have that.
Yeah.
So they got to continue to build on what they had last year. I mean, like you said, it's been a lot of losing. Definitely, I'll say since that class of 2019 left, there's been a lot of losing these last few years. And so to see them kind of, have some success last year was pretty good. 7-4. 7-4 for us would have been a very bad.
Yeah, we can't compare. That's the golden era of Midway, man. We know they trying to get back to that.
Yeah, they trying to get back to that. But for them though, definitely these young guys who they haven't really seen too much of the winning culture. They was kids whenever we was all in school, so they can't. Some of them probably don't even remember that. Or if they do, they do. But it's not as fun in their memory as recently.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see Midway, man, get back to some winning culture, man. It's about that time, and like I always say, man, Waco got too much talent. Really, most of our schools should be really good, if not all.
We got so much talent within the city, and people don't understand when you think about cities like Allen and Flower Mound and Frisco at one point, not anymore because they got about 10 high schools. But, man, a lot of them schools in the DFW area or even in the Houston area that dominate, it might be 1 or 2 high schools in that area, and they're the same size as Waco as a city, and we got like 10 high schools. So there's so much talent split up amongst the different schools because yesterday I talked a little bit about Courtney Parr, who was a sophomore at quarterback last year for La Vega. They went all the way to state. And a big part of that was him. Once he got the start, he took off. You think about guys. Go ahead.
They weren't supposed to make it that far.
No.
Vega wasn't supposed to make it that far. Playoffs. Not to state.
They made it all the way to state in a year that a lot of people figured was going to be a down year for them because they lost a lot of their first few games in their non-district schedule. But, they're playing West Orange Stark, and they're playing teams that are big-time schools and divisions above them. So that's why they dropped him. That's, kind of the madness of Coach Hyde. He knows what he's doing, and most people will say, I even got asked by multiple people around the city, man, why does La Vega schedule all those guys before in the pre-district and just get beat up? Well, it seems to be working because he's doing something to let them know that this is a higher level and a higher standard of playing. And once we play against these guys, we can breeze through the playoffs like we saw them do. All the way to the state semifinals playing the Wimberley team that was really good. That had been in the state semifinals, I think 3 years in a row, and they smacked them.
Yeah, right.
So, La Vega knows what they're doing. Courtney Parr is another one of those really good young players. It's talent everywhere. We know Jabari and Vincent over at Conley. Me and you got a chance to cover him a few years ago. He's a dynamic athlete, pretty much next in line in that Conley tribe. Go ahead.
We got Lil Thornton too from La Vega.
Yeah, and then the Thornton kid from La Vega too, who's a monster. Out of La Vega. I think I want to say he committed to Oklahoma State.
Oh, Oklahoma State? I thought it was Baylor.
He could have changed. I don't know. I'd have to go back and go look at his stuff. But he's a dynamic athlete, and he had offers from everywhere. So wherever he decides to go is not going to be a bad decision or anything like that. That dude's got offers from everywhere. I think he even had offers from Oregon and different places like that. So they got a lot of talent over at La Vega, and I expect them to be another team that's kind of back in that mix once again as far as competing, going back to another championship state. Robinson's got a really good running back over there that every week I looked up when I'm checking the stats, the local stats and seeing who did what on Friday nights. Evan Marino was right there at the top of the list as far as rushing stats. He's coming back to Robinson. So, I mean, it's literally talent in each and every sector of Waco. And I love it going into this football season. That means it's going to make for a lot of fun for this football season. Last year we saw that the old school district, it was the 3A district back in the day, but now in the 4A district with China Spring and Conley, La Vega, Robinson, Gatesville, all those teams are good. And a lot of those teams made the playoffs out of that district too, and did something when they got to the playoffs too. They didn't just go there and just lose. They actually did something when they got to the playoffs. So it's going to be a lot of fun being able to cover those guys in the city. A lot of talent when you're talking about high school football heading into this 2025 season. So I'm definitely excited to be able to cover those guys week in and week out. I want to switch over a little bit to some college football, still staying local, and talking about these Baylor Bears, man. Sawyer Robertson has been getting a lot of looks and has been getting a lot of recognition because of this way he played last year when he took over that starting spot for DeQuan Finn for the Baylor Bears. And a lot of that because of the finish they had. They won their last 6 or 7 games of the season after starting 2-4. And I said it yesterday because I said it on the show. I wrote them off after that 2-4 start. After they dropped the game to Colorado, then backdoor lost to BYU in a close one, and then backdoor got blown out by Iowa State. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe this is going to be a down year for Baylor. But they turned that thing all the way around, and a large part of that was due to Sawyer Robertson. So now Sawyer Robertson and CBS had a list that came out. He was named one of the top 10 candidates for as far as winning the Heisman going into next year. I think they placed him at number 8 in there. What do you think about Sawyer Robinson starting to get some of this recognition for how good he played last year and now even potential Heisman recognition for Sawyer Robertson?
That's great for Baylor and it's great for Sawyer Robertson. If you really go look at his numbers and compare him to some of the other QBs, I mean, he's better than a lot of guys.
A lot of guys.
A lot of guys. So it's just, he had a small market here at Baylor.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get, I can't even say that he's not going to get it because he is getting the recognition now. So I think Baylor's going to be really good. I love their recruiting from this year, man. I really feel like it's kind of slept on because everybody's talking about a lot of these, the main schools, the Texas, Ohio State, Penn State, all those schools. They've been talking about their recruiting, but Baylor recruitment this year has been really good. And they got some incoming freshmen, and they got guys that's going to be sophomores that's going to get more playing time this year. There's going to be some dogs on the field.
Yeah.
And they did great in the transfer portal as well. So Baylor's going to be tough. They're going to be really tough, definitely coming out the Big 12. I'm not going to go so far to say that they will win the Big 12, but they're going to make some noise in the Big 12, and they're going to be a problem. And they were a problem this year, for a lot of the top teams in the Big 12. They played everybody good.
They played everybody good. You're right. Go ahead.
Yeah. With Sawyer Robinson leading them, man, I think they're going to be really good, man. The receiving core is going to be deep. We already know about the running backs. Williams. That's a Waco Metro product right there.
Washington, Washington, yeah.
Yeah, Washington. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the defense is going to be better. The D-line, I'm really looking forward to seeing the D-line. But Sawyer Robinson is most definitely, he's going to be a difference maker out there. And so him being number 8 on the Heisman list, I can't go against that. I would agree on that for sure.
Yeah, I'm because I was looking at some of the guys they had even ranked ahead of him, and I'm like, man, I get it, but even guys that I like, or that me and you both like, a guy like Lenore Sellers out of South Carolina, he didn't necessarily have a way better season than Sawyer Robinson did last year, so I can't sit here and just say that he is definitively better than Sawyer Robinson.
Yeah, he just played in more primetime games.
Yeah,
what I'm saying? He in small market, so we seen Lenore Sellers more on television because he played in South Carolina. He in the SEC.
Yeah.
So he played more primetime games. But guys like me and you, if they were really watching, Sawyer Robinson he had just as good of a season, if not better.
Sawyer Robinson last year threw for 3,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 8 picks, 82.9 QBR, which led. He's got the highest QBR for any returning quarterback in Power 4. So we know the dude can play, and like you said, with the team getting better, with Josh Cameron going to really take that role as the number one receiver, like he did last year. Didn't play much his first couple years at Baylor. Comes in last year and gets 10 touchdowns. So he's going to get a chance to build on that as well. You talked about Bryson Washington, who I love. I think he's right up there for top 3 running back in the Big 12 already. A lot of people would say, oh, man, that's crazy. You know, it's all these different guys in the Big 12. I don't think it's that crazy. Now, I said this yesterday on the show, and you can tell me if I'm tripping or not. I'm looking at Baylor's schedule, and I know you said they'll be right up there at the top. I don't see why Baylor can't go out here and compete for a Big 12 championship. I just don't. I don't see anybody on here that's a boogeyman. Now, their pre-conference schedule is much tougher than last year. Last year, I went to the games. I think all their pre-conference games that were at home, they played Air Force and they played Tarleton State. This year, they opening up week 1 with Auburn at home. Auburn is coming down to McLean Stadium, and we just they're one of their 3 or 4 star recruits at quarterback, Walker White, transferred to Baylor in the offseason. So that kind of creates some more fuel to the fire there as far as that kind of a rivalry starting. But they open up the season against Auburn. Very next week, they got to get on the road up to Dallas and go play SMU. So their pre-district schedule or pre-conference schedule is no joke. But in my opinion, those are both 2 very winnable games. SMU is a really, really good team. I love Kevin Jennings. I was actually shocked that he wasn't in that list that CBS Sports put out as far as top 10 quarterbacks coming in the next year. I think that's kind of crazy to not put Kevin Jennings in there. I think he's electric on the football field. But a very winnable game for Baylor. And I'm going to let you respond. I'm just going to give you a couple of their games that they have once conference play starts. They got Arizona State, who Sam Levitt's coming back, but, there's no Cam Scatterboo. Oklahoma State, that's just a wild card. We don't really know what to expect from Oklahoma State last year. A lot of people had them winning the Big 12 last year, and they didn't win a game in the Big 12. Kansas State, I expect Kansas State to be good again. Avery Johnson's coming back. I think both of their running backs are coming back with Giddings and Dylan Edwards. TCU, Cincinnati, UCF, Utah, and there's no more 30-year-old playing football at quarterback for Utah anymore. So, in my opinion, Utah is a beatable team because I didn't see anything from Isaac Wilson last year that would make me be scared of Utah, just being honest. I didn't see anything out of him playing QB that makes me fear Utah. Then they close it out with Arizona and Houston. That's a very winnable schedule if you're the Baylor Bears.
That right there, man. So I'm gonna say I got a wild take. I think Baylor gonna beat Auburn. It's a home game.
I do too. I plan on being at that game.
Yeah, I might go to that game. We going to that game.
No, we got
August
to.
29th. Yeah, we going to that game. The people gonna be out, and it's gonna be crazy at McLean. So I got Baylor, and I just think overall, even though Auburn has got some guys in the offseason through the transfer portal, they got the receiver from Georgia Tech who's electric.
Yeah.
And then they got Cam Coleman coming back, the freshman.
Jackson Arnold transferring in from Oklahoma.
But Baylor seen Jackson Arnold. They actually beat Jackson Arnold. And I don't think that we're not worried about none of that. Baylor got some really good guys on defense too that I think they can really face up against them. So I got Baylor coming out with that. SMU game is a toss-up, but really all these other games, all the games that you would want them to have at home, they have at home. The only one that I would say that we probably really wanted at home that we don't have is maybe TCU and Oklahoma State. But I think that those 2 teams are so bad that it's not going to matter.
Yeah, Oklahoma State is, I ain't trying to just dog on them. They're not good. Last year, they didn't win a game. A lot of people had them winning the Big 12. They didn't win a game in the Big 12.
Yeah.
That's terrible. And TCU is I ain't never going to pick TCU over Baylor. I can't. As a Baylor fan, I'll never be allowed to do that. I can't do that.
Yeah. Arizona's going to be bad. Even though they got to go to Arizona, they're bad. Utah at home. Houston at home, UCF at home. Kansas State at home. We ain't gotta go to Manhattan, Kansas.
Because that's the number one loss game right there is when you got to get on the road and go to Manhattan and play against Kansas State.
Yeah, and Arizona State gotta hope that their quarterback really live up to all the hype that he's been getting.
Because he is getting hyped, and I'm about to bring that up in a second. We'll talk about some of these college quarterbacks, but he's getting hyped, and I'm like, okay, dude did have a good season last year. I get it. He's number one receiver's coming back, but we're gonna act like Scatterboo wasn't like 50% of that offense. Like, I'm like, I don't, you know, I'm not just sold yet. Yeah, so I think Baylor's got a very, very winnable schedule, and I'm gonna be the guy to go ahead and put the pressure on them early. I think we need to be competing to get into the Big 12 championship game. Like, I think anything under that is honestly a failure. Last year we went and we won a lot of games to close out the Big 12. That was cool, but we started so bad that it was already too late. Now with expectation going in, with Sawyer Robertson really getting looks, he wasn't even projected as a starter last year. He didn't start. DeQuan Finn started. We didn't see Sawyer Robertson until Finn got hurt, and then Robertson didn't give him his spot back. But now you got expectations coming into this. Bryson Washington, you played great as a freshman, but I'm expecting you to be one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in the Big 12 this year. That's how electric he was last year for the Bears. So that's what I'm expecting out of him.
What running back in the Big 12 that people think is better than him?
I mean, Utah's got the guy, I forget his name, the kid from Utah can play. UCF, I don't believe in none of them. R.J. Harvey was amazing, but he's gone.
He's gone, though.
He's on the Broncos. So Rashard Smith, they're not even in the Big 12. I'm talking about SMU. But Rashard Smith from SMU, he graduated. Scatterboo's gone. Ollie Gordon's gone. I mean, I guess DJ Giddings is maybe.
Kansas State. He in the draft. He went through the draft.
DJ Giddings came out this year.
Yeah, he gone too. So what running back?
Dylan Edwards, I guess maybe from Kansas State, you could say, but you can't just put him in front of Bryson Washington though. Like you can't put him in front of Bryson Washington. I think he's a good back, but man, Bryson, he changed the offense. I was at the game when he came back the first week, and you know I went to the press conference before the game. And so they're in there talking, and, you know, they just keep talking about Bryson Washington. And I'm like, man, they thinking about they going to start this kid. And I like him because, you know, he's from the city. He's from right outside of Waco at Franklin. But I'm like, you know, we got Reese. Yeah. We got Dawson Pendergrass who's been playing really good. They going to just start Washington. I'm like, man, maybe they seeing something I don't. He came out and tore Air Force up. And I'm like, okay, he must have been destroying these dudes in practice. For him to come in after red shirt in the first year, coming in next year, hurt, to start the season off, don't play the first 3 games, and then you still start, I was like, okay, he must have been killing them in practice. And I figured out that, yes, that's exactly what happened because he went on from there to start killing everybody in the Big 12. He was a huge part of that offense, so I got high expectations for Baylor. They finished 5th in the Big 12 last year. I think anything less than the top 3 finish is a disappointment for the Baylor Bears.
Most definitely.
I don't see them coming into this season and just, especially after looking at the schedule, man. All these games are winnable. These are very, very winnable games. So I'm excited to watch Baylor coming into next season, see what the Bears can come out there and do, especially with a lot of the looks and a lot of the attention that Sawyer Robinson is starting to get, which is deserved. He deserves to go out there and be mentioned and to get some of those guys and be mentioned as the top guys. They had Arch Manning. This is just on CBS's list, and I'm getting ready to talk about a list that Fox Sports put on. They had Arch Manning. The 7 in front of Sawyer Robertson was Arch at 1, K. Klubnik at 2, Carson Beck at 3, Drew Aller at 4, Sam Levitt at 5, Garrett Nussmeier at 6, Lenore Sellers at 7. Behind him, Rocco Beck at Iowa State, and then 10, DJ Lagway from Florida. Now, there's some of those guys, I get it. Arch in front of Sawyer, of course, Cade. I think Cade is the best returning quarterback coming back. Carson Beck, I'll have to see that one. I was never sold on Carson Beck, just being honest. So, Drew Aller, okay, I get that. Sam Levitt, I'm going to have to see it without Cam Scatterboo. Garrett Nussmeier, I think he's going to actually have a really, really good year this year for LSU. I think Garrett Nussmeier might actually end up being a top QB in this class coming out this year. One of the top QBs for sure. Lenore Sellers, he's good, but he's still young. So, I agree with some of that list. But some of those guys, Sawyer Robinson played just as good as those guys. So I understand that's just a random list. It's not, the end all be all. But I expect, Sawyer Robinson to be one of those guys, especially in the Big 12 for sure. Coming out of this year. But let's got to talk some more college football and see what else is going on in the college football ranks while we're sitting there talking about college. We just wrapped up talking about the Baylor Bears. They put out a list, Fox Sports, for the top 5 returning quarterbacks coming into next year. Number 1 on the list, Cade Klubnik. Number 2, Arch Manning. 3, John Mateer, who was at Washington State, transferring over to Oklahoma. 4, Sam Levitt. And 5, Drew Aller. So for the list, I like the list for the most part. For the most part, I do like the list. I also have Cade Klubnik at number 1, and I do think that Arches will be right behind him. I really do like the pick at John Mateer going to OU, because I think he's probably their only chance of being able to save that program. Because if not, they're about to turn into Vanderbilt. If John Mateer can't come in and be good, 'cause he had a really, really good season last year at Washington State. Their team is just sorry. So now we're going to get you in the system. The Tatum kid is coming back at running back for Oklahoma. I want to say, did Deion Burks go to the draft? I'm going to have to look it up. I can't remember if Deion Burks went to the draft or not. But they got a lot of talent at receiver regardless. OU always does. So hopefully he can come in and be able to save their season. For Sam Levitt, I'm definitely not putting Sam Levitt above Drew Aller. And not that I just was, thinking Drew Aller was some type of first-team All-American quarterback at Penn State, but I'd put him in front of Sam Levitt, and then they have Drew at 5. What do you think about that top 5 list that Fox Sports put out for the returning quarterbacks next year?
That's a solid top 5. You could really argue that they probably left out some guys, but that's a solid top 5, though. I like the top 5. I agree with it. There's some guys I'm really excited to see. One of them, like you said, John Mateer, even though I hate Oklahoma.
Facts.
He's pretty much their last savior at this point, though. Like you said, it's really gonna come down to how he performs. But I've been hearing a lot of hype coming from him, and really, I kind of watched him when he was at Washington State too last year. He's a really good quarterback. It's just gonna come down to the weapons that he got, and Oklahoma kind of reloaded a little bit to the point to where, 0-3 football been talking crazy, saying how they might beat Texas and everything, and then, in the rivalry. So we're going to see how that goes. But, and, Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU, I'm very excited to see him. LSU, really right now, what I've been really looking at definitely during spring football, just trying to see who's going to end up being that number 1 receiver for Garrett Nussmeier, honestly. You got a lot of guys. Man. Their receiving core out there is deep. So somebody's going to have to really step up and be a true number 1. And, I really don't know who. Right now I'm going for, what's the guy, Aaron Anderson out of New Orleans. I like him. I like his game. He
was torching Baylor in that bowl game.
He's torching Baylor. He a dog. He a dog. So I'm probably going to pull for him mostly to be the number 1. But they got a lot of guys, man. They still got guys like Kyle Parker from Lovejoy that came out a few years ago.
Yep.
So they got some guys at LSU right now. But Garrett Nussmeier, he's awesome. So I'm rooting for him as well. Like Sam Levitt, just trying to see how he's going to play without having, a diesel at running back.
Yeah.
You just got to see how he's going to really play. If he proves us wrong, that'll be great. I really just don't really see too much out of him, honestly. He does play hard. He's a guy that does play hard, but I just don't. As far as just X's and O's, I don't really see too much out of him. But he deserves to be in it. So, yeah, I agree with the top 5.
Yeah, that would be one of my main changes is taking Sam out and putting Garrett Nussmeier there. I can't say that Sam Levitt is better than Garrett Nussmeier. I know that they had some points where they struggled in the season, but let's just be honest. He's in the SEC. Sam Levitt's in the Big 12. I'm a Big 12 guy, and I love the Big 12. There is a difference in the defenses that you are seeing from week to week than what Garrett Nussmeier was seeing. LSU played one of the hardest schedules in the country.
Yeah, a lot of the struggles that LSU had that we had really during the season came from Caden Durham was great at running back, but a lot of the troubles came because we wasn't running the ball enough. And so we became one of You know, if you really go back and look at that Texas A&M game, you even go look at the South Carolina, I think South Carolina game. We played South Carolina, I believe, but definitely the Texas A&M game. We had control over that game. Second half hit, and I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, and it just went downhill very fast. So a lot of the trouble just came because they weren't running the ball enough, and they became one dimensional, and teams pretty much just locked in on it. And also, when you got a guy like Harold Perkins who's hurt, who's the anchor of your defense, that changes a lot of things. That changes a lot of things for your defense. With a healthy defense going into the season this year, and a lot of guys that got added on too, and a lot of guys that's probably been that's younger, that's going to be stepping up playing. I feel like LSU is going to make a lot more noise, and it's going to really show in Garrett Nussmeier's game, you know, because he's not going to have to really just have to be like the savior of the team, you know, once they get down or anything, once they get into certain situations, it's not going to be all up on him to have to, you know, do everything.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think, one, get the ball to Caden Durham. He's literally going to be one of the best running backs in the SEC if they give him the ball.
Yeah.
Dude is
he has track speed, elite track speed.
Elite track speed on there. And then the receivers you name, I know they're losing a lot of guys, but when they played all the young dudes against Baylor, Chris Hilton couldn't get guarded. Aaron Anderson couldn't get guarded. Trey Green, the big giant tight end they got that barely played last year that's going to start at tight end this year, he couldn't be guarded. So I'm like, okay, I see multiple weapons here for Nussmeier to be able to go out here and be successful with. It's just, can he go out there and do it? I'm just going to say it now before the season starts. I hate that Brian Kelly became the coach of LSU. I don't know. It just doesn't fit. And every time they lose, I know he wants to do random stuff and get mad and slam his fist on the table. I'm just going to blame it on him. I hate the fit. I thought it never fit. Brian Kelly to LSU was never a fit to me. I feel like their recruiting got worse once he got there.
Yeah.
I never liked that fit.
He don't fit the culture. Like,
no.
You know, Coach O fit the culture.
Coach O should have never been gone. I know that they got sorry after they won the chip, but y'all didn't even give him a few years.
Yeah.
Y'all act like LSU just been winning the chip every year. He got y'all to the chip. They ain't been since 2007.
And won.
And won. And blew out one of the coldest Clemson teams that they have in their history. They were stacked, and they blew them out.
Like the last time before that, that was against the Alabama team that they lost against in the Natty. You know, before that. But like he got y'all there and won. You know what I mean? And he fits the culture. He fit the culture down there. You know,
born and bred.
Yeah, born and bred. Like Les Miles fit the culture too.
Yep.
This dude Brian Kelly just don't fit the culture. Coming from Notre Dame down to LSU is a culture shock. It is a culture shock. Like he don't fit down there, man. Don't nobody like him. None of the students like him. None of the fans like him. Nobody. Nobody likes him. So he's more of a he's a Big Ten guy.
Yeah, he needs to be coaching at Indiana or something or Illinois, not LSU.
Yeah, he's a Midwest guy. You know what I mean? And when you in the SEC, you know, we need some Southern, you know, born and bred guys, dudes that's from around these parts. And that sounds bad, but I'm not meaning it in a demeaning way, but
no,
a guy that's going to be able to relate more with the culture that's down here, whether you're in Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Mississippi, anywhere, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, like the Carolinas, it don't matter. Somebody who is more familiar with these areas, you know, Arkansas, all these places. Because even though they all have their own culture, Southern is the same no matter where you go. And you got Brian just can't relate. He's already lame for trying to put on a fake Southern accent.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was
lame. That's similar to how Carl Anthony Towns. We're gonna talk about that too. How Carl Anthony Towns tried to have the fake New York accent, act like people didn't see that. We're gonna talk about that too.
How many voices does Carl Anthony Towns have? This man can go from sounding like a Kardashian to trying to sound like he's from New York in the same sentence.
About a dozen. It's about a dozen. He got to learn too. You dudes out of line, man. Be yourself. You be yourself, bro.
Yeah, Brian Kelly, to me, he never fit that culture down. See, in the South is the South everywhere you go, whether you're in Florida, in Carolina, Alabama. But Louisiana is truly a unique place. And Baton Rouge, for sure, is a unique place. Sure. You need somebody that can I knew that it didn't fit because the recruiting started to change. LSU can win a national championship almost with just Louisiana talent. There's not many other places that can do that. Texas, Louisiana, Georgia, and Florida are probably some of the only places you can recruit just your state, and you can compete for a national championship. So LSU was a unique place in that. I don't feel like their recruiting has been elevated since he got there, and that's what you were supposed to be there for. It wasn't because they thought you could win a championship, because you didn't win to Notre Dame. And as soon as you leave, they go to the championship. As soon as you leave.
Yeah, you losing guys out of that area too. That's like I've been seeing a huge influx of New Orleans guys coming to Texas.
Yeah,
which is crazy. That's crazy. I don't think it's ever been like that.
If you can't win at home, you're not gonna win.
Man, you ain't keeping them home. Like, there's no reason that a kid that go to Destrehan, Edna, Westgate, any of these schools, and University Lab right there in Baton Rouge. Like, there's no reason why those guys should be coming up to Texas. Like, there's a huge influx of guys that I've been seeing that are recruiting, that get recruited, and they're actually committing and coming up to Texas, or going to Alabama still, or going to Georgia, going to Florida. I've been seeing guys go to Florida. That's why Florida got good. Florida been getting a few guys from.
Florida is kind of one of my sleeper teams in the SEC, man. I think DJ Lagway is really like that. I hated that he got away from all the Texas schools. It made no sense to me that UT didn't get him, that A&M didn't get him, Baylor, TCU. Like, nobody could keep DJ Lagway home.
Out through that bag.
Come on, bro. He been nice. Everybody used to watch DJ Lagway at Willis.
Yeah.
Why we couldn't figure out why he couldn't stay home? He didn't even go next door. This man went way to Florida.
Florida.
You got to be able to win at home, and that's what LSU's got to be able to do. They got to keep those homegrown guys there. Just like Miami, when Miami was good, they recruited people from Miami. Texas right now. Texas is always going to get top talent, but when Texas started getting the top guys, when they started getting the Quinn Ewers, they started getting the Colin Simmons, these are the guys that are the number one players in Texas. When those guys come to Texas, now Texas has got a resurgence again. When they can keep their main guys home and they don't all go to Ohio State and make them win championships like they were doing all in the 2010s when Texas was sorry. All the best talent in Texas was going to Ohio State for some reason, going to Alabama. They wasn't staying home. Now that they're keeping those guys home, they're having more success. So LSU is like that. I think they got to be able to do that as well. Folks, we're going to talk some more college football. We got to talk some NBA as well, as the Minnesota Timberwolves take on Oklahoma City Thunder tonight to start off the Western Conference Finals. And we got plenty of quick takes to talk about here. So stay tuned and stay locked in, folks. We got to go into a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about some more of these topics here. So stay tuned and stay locked in. We're going to be right back after this short break.
Is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me from Centex Sports Network. We're starting a new platform, Recruit 254. Our mission is to highlight the amazing student athletes of 254. So if you're in the Waco, Killeen, Temple, Mart, Marlin, or any surrounding 254 areas, follow this platform and join the movement. Recruit 254. 254, let's run it up.
My name is Emily Adams. I'm the marketing director for the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. We are here at our third annual MAPS conference at the Waco Convention Center in beautiful Waco, Texas. I think the event has exceeded all of our expectations. We had an amazing turnout and great sessions and nothing but positive feedback. So this is our first conference in a convention center, and I'm used to working with hotels where there's like one person to talk to for everything. And so at the last minute, we realized we needed audio and video services. And so I contacted Lighthouse Streaming and Audio, and they were very quick to respond. They were able to, even though it was the last minute, they were able to fit us into their schedule, and they provided us with technicians and equipment to record our sessions, and we'll be able to provide the people who are speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any
You can hit the subscribe button over on Centex Sports Network / Centex Sports TV over on YouTube. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Hour number 2 of the show here today. Jalen Gillis still here, still joined here by PJ Gaither as we get ready to go through some more of these topics. We just got done talking about some local high school football. So we talked about a few of the teams here locally in the Waco, Texas area. We talked about your Baylor Bears and their season for 2025, what we expect out of Baylor this year in 2025. I expect for Baylor to do some big things in their football program this year in the Big 12. I expect them to be right there competing for that top spot within the Big 12. We just got done talking about that in hour number 1 as well. And we talked about some of the top returning QBs in college football coming into next year. We got some more college topics we're going to talk about. Let's jump into some quick takes, though, first, before we jump right back into the college football rankings here. A couple of quick takes going on in the sports world. This one was kind of funny, or not even funny, just kind of confusing, but that describes this team to a T. The Cleveland Browns have come out and said they are going to have a 4-way QB competition. The 4 quarterbacks being Kenny Pickett, who they traded for in the offseason, Joe Flacco, who they got in the offseason, and the 2 quarterbacks they drafted in the draft in Shedeur Sanders and in Dylan Gabriel, who they got in the 3rd round before they drafted Shedeur Sanders. A 4-way QB competition is how they described it. Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel will split the time at number ones, playing with the number ones. This is all in OTAs. They'll split time getting reps with the number ones. The number 2's reps will be split between Joe Flacco and Shedeur Sanders. PJ, you've been watching football for a long time like myself. Have you ever seen a situation where a team comes in and says, we're going to have a 4-way QB competition? 4-way.
No, that's stupid. That's stupid. It couldn't even be. Yeah, that's stupid. I don't be knowing what these teams be on, man. That's so stupid to me, bro. Like, first off, why y'all got all these quarterbacks? That's my first question. Y'all got all these quarterbacks.
They don't know what they're doing.
Y'all know what y'all doing. That's why y'all sorry. My might be the reason why y'all end up staying sorry, because somebody gonna get lost in the bunch. And they probably might not even be a bad quarterback. They just gonna get lost in the bunch because you got 4 quarterbacks. They're gonna have a terrible season, bro. Like the season's gonna be terrible. They're gonna go into the season still trying to figure out who's QB1. And what's gonna happen is that they're gonna be trying to rotate guys throughout the season. Watch, maybe 2 of them gonna be getting rotated throughout the season. Maybe 2. Maybe maybe.
I honestly expect at some point throughout the entire 17-game season to see all 4 quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns.
That's stupid, man. I ain't never seen you never seen nothing like that, bro. That's dumb.
Not that be the plan. We've seen the team play with 4 quarterbacks or whatever, injuries, whatever happens. Guys can't play and they're trying to find. We haven't even got to training camp yet. This is OTAs. Yeah, we're gonna have 4 quarterbacks to compete for the number 1 spot. Look at the teams that are successful: Kansas City, Philly, all of these different type of teams. San Francisco. Do they go in and say, "Yeah, we got an open QB competition, and it's 4 guys"? You can't decide between the 4. You don't know who's good. You have no idea who's good and who's not. Now, on one hand, this could work out for Shedeur. Shedeur could get a chance. He's going to end up playing the season. I said originally, I don't think Shedeur is going to play this season. They got a lot of guys in front of him. Maybe he'll just take some time and sit, which I don't have a problem with. I'm never opposed to quarterbacks sitting out for a year, their rookie year, because they always try to throw guys out too quick. But in this situation, man, he's going to end up playing. Y'all know Joe Flacco is 1,000 years old. Kenny Pickett can't play.
He shouldn't even be, bro. Joe Flacco shouldn't even be in the conversation. He shouldn't even be in the conversation, bro. He shouldn't even be in the 4. Kenny Pickett, nah. He shouldn't.
If you played against Bob Sanders, you shouldn't still be in the league right now.
Yeah, man.
You are a teammate of Ray Lewis, who has been retired for a decade and a half.
Yeah.
You're not still supposed to be in the league, bro. Hang it up. I understand. I get it. They giving you checks. You're going to go out there and get the checks. I get that part. But he shouldn't be a part of this conversation, like you said. Kenny Pickett, I think, is ultimately going to be the starter week 1. Do I think it's going to last? No, because we all know Kenny Pickett's not good. We don't have to guess. We watched him in Pittsburgh not be good. We watched him in Philly be mid last year when he had a chance to play a couple of games. He didn't do anything. And you on the best roster in the league, and you didn't do nothing. So this is confusing to me, seeing 3 guys come in. They're going to split time in OTAs. Dylan Gabriel is really just a casualty in this, because I don't think Dylan Gabriel has any chance. If they get to the point of saying, we're going to play Dylan Gabriel, at that point you're like, well, we might as well go and play Shedeur then. So I don't even see Dylan Gabriel having a real live significant chance of being able to do something once he goes out there. But this is the Cleveland Browns. This is what the Cleveland Browns do. This is why the Cleveland Browns have been sorry for a majority of this time. But Cleveland is definitely going to be interesting. I know they probably don't want Hard Knocks to go back, but that is 100% where Hard Knocks should go. It's the Cleveland Browns, because they're going to have the most entertaining offseason, I think, by far, since they're talking about having a 4-way QB competition. Staying with some quick takes here. This one is kind of funny, and Bleacher Report really messed with even putting this on here. Thanasis Antetokounmpo is being cleared to return to all basketball activities after suffering a torn Achilles. Now, for one, for those of you that don't know, and none of you should know who this is, but for those of you that don't, Thanasis is Giannis's brother that's usually on the Bucks bench, kind of cheering people on and getting really hyped when his brother does something good. Never for playing basketball. One, I had no idea he had a torn Achilles. I thought the Bucks just got tired of him. and he didn't come back. I had no idea this man had a torn Achilles. But apparently he's been cleared by doctors, and Thanasis announces that he is back after tearing his Achilles. He's back and he's ready to play basketball again. There's a lot of layers to that. For one, I don't know what I'm back means and I'm ready to play basketball again, because when were you playing basketball?
You weren't playing.
You were just off. And see, I knew Thanasis was really sorry. At first, I was like, maybe he's just kind of sorry and they don't play him. I knew this man was sorry when he didn't make his home team in Europe. When Greece had the Olympic team, he didn't make the team. I said, okay, no, this guy's really sorry. Because it ain't that many cold basketball players in Greece. It's actually just Giannis. You didn't even make the team, bro. Yeah, this dude's not like that. But he said he's coming back after being cleared. PJ, what do you think about the NASA saying he's back now, coming back from his torn Achilles?
I'm trying to figure out how he tears Achilles because he doesn't play.
That's the
He
same
really
thing I
don't
thought.
play.
It couldn't have happened in the game. He
Like,
must have did it at home.
he did it at home or something, or practice, because he don't play.
Nope.
I mean, don't nobody care that he back because he not gonna play.
Nobody.
He is what LaDuval was to T.I. in 2004. You just a hype man. You all in the videos. Bro. Just you P. Diddy to Biggie. You just in the videos. That's it. Don't nobody care about you, bro. You're not playing. Nobody care that you back. I mean, kudos to him though, man, that he healed up. I'm glad that, physical therapy and everything went good for him, because Achilles, that's a hard injury to come back from, but he wasn't supposed to tear his Achilles in the first place because he don't play.
He's got the rest of his life to come back from this injury because he's done playing basketball. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What is this? I'm back. What are you talking about, bro?
He don't play a part at all on the Milwaukee Bucks. Or is he still on the Bucks, right?
I don't know. I didn't see him none last year. I thought that they just got rid of him, but apparently it's because he tore his Achilles. I didn't know that at all.
So wherever he at, it don't even matter. He not playing.
He got a podcast. I know that. I seen his podcast. So I mean, I thought the podcast came out because he retired from basketball. That's what I thought. I was under the impression of that, but apparently that wasn't the deal, and he didn't retire from basketball. He just tore his Achilles, which I had no idea. I do know one thing, where he was needed the most. When Halliburton daddy ran up on Giannis and all that during the playoffs when they got eliminated. Oh, no, sir. The Nash is crashing all the way out. He's crashing all the way out. That would not have happened. He is completely crashing out if he does that. His pops is not getting in Giannis's face. We'd have seen a DDT from the top ropes like we was watching SmackDown or WWE if we would have seen Halliburton's dad getting in Giannis's face like that. The Nash would have jumped off or something to be able to come down onto this dude. So that's one thing I guess he was on the team for, and they did miss him in that retrospect. But I have no idea what he's talking about when he said I'm back from being injured. This was one that I thought was kind of cool. A player named Bree Ellis that plays for Arkansas in softball, as Arkansas won the SEC championship and they're going off to the national tournament. They were able to win the SEC championship against Georgia in the softball game from a home run, a grand slam home run with the bases loaded, last inning of the game, walk-off home run. Bree Ellis leads softball in every hitting statistic. Home runs, RBIs, batting average, everything. She's a monster. If anybody just watched her play, she is phenomenal. In the SEC championship game, they literally walked her every single time she came to bat. They walked her every single time. It was no question about walking her. Everyone knew they were walking her. They didn't even give her a chance. She only got a chance to hit in the last inning because the bases were loaded, and if they would have walked her, that would have lost the game for them. They would have just walked in the winning run. So they had to pitch to her. The very first strike they threw, they haven't even thrown this girl a strike. The very first strike they threw, she goes yard, hits it over the fence, hits a home run, wins the SEC championship. Definitely had the shot. I seen that, and I was like, okay, I got to say something about that. That is ridiculous. And she talking noise and she hit it. She going around. She's talking to the other team's dugout. She's saying, this is why you don't effing walk me. I said, oh, man, I found my new favorite player in softball just that quick. I said, this girl is a man-child, first off, bro. I'm talking about hitting. She's hitting anything moving. They threw her 13 balls. They walked her 3 or 4 times. The very first strike they threw, the first one, it went yard and went over the fence. I said, nah, they got to leave this girl alone, man. I see exactly why they didn't pitch to her the entire game. The very first strike is going yard. I said, yeah, I found who I'm watching in the softball World Series this year. It's definitely going to be Arkansas, and I'm definitely going to be watching Bree Ellis because that was pretty ridiculous when I seen that the other day. So I had to talk about that. PJ, we were just talking about college football a second ago. We're talking about your Texas Longhorns. Texas reportedly will spend $35 to $40 million on their roster next year. Now, I know that this is a star-studded roster. 5 stars everywhere. 5 stars from the transfer portal, 5 stars out of high school. I get it. You got Arch Manning, who is the most hyped player in college football, whether it's good hype or bad hype. No one's getting talked about more than Arch Manning. You've got C.J. Baxter coming back. You've got the star-studded receiver room. You got Colin Simmons, who I think is right up there, if not the best defensive player in college football already, along with the other guys that they have in the defensive room as well. What do you think about Texas having a $35 to $40 million roster, reportedly, this according to some of the reports that's come out so far?
Ohio State gave the blueprint. Texas just following because they got enough money, if not more. Actually, they just got more.
Oh, they definitely have more. They definitely have more.
Yeah, most definitely. So they could do it. So they just following the blueprint. Honestly, you're gonna start seeing a few teams follow suit. So Texas, we got that bag. That's all I can say.
You got to spend that bag if you want to win, man. Those days are long gone of the tradition, all the stuff, the BS that Nick Saban talks about and why he retired. All of that stuff is over with. Guys don't want to just sit on the bench anymore and wait for. No, I don't want to sit on the bench for 5 years and I'm a 5-star. That doesn't make sense. Of course, I'm gonna go somewhere else. No, I don't want to not get paid. The reason that a lot of these old dudes are getting out of college football because you can't just give a kid a Hellcat anymore and tell him to play for 4 years. Now you got to come with some bread. Dudes is getting $4 and $5 million that I didn't think was that good. We just talked about Jackson Arnold. I don't think anything of Jackson Arnold. He got $3 million from Auburn. The kid from Tulane, I think he could play. He transferred. I forget what school he left and went to, but he got $3 or $4 million.
I think that kid went to UNC. You talking about the quarterback, right?
Yeah, the quarterback that came from Tulane. Okay, he went to UNC.
Went to UNC.
Man, these dudes are getting paid now. You got to spin the bag, and like you just said a second ago, Ohio State laid out the blueprint. They paid so much money, they won a national championship with Will Howard. And for some of y'all, you're thinking, oh, Will Howard was – no, that's not me at least. I don't think Will Howard was that great at all. And they were able to blow people out all the way to the championship. Outside of Texas, they blew everybody out. A large part of that due to that roster that they had. And last year they were saying $25 to $30 million. This year Texas said, okay, we're going to show who's really got – Texas got old money. Texas got oil rig money. Texas got actor money. We see what's his name in every single commercial possible, Matthew McConaughey. They got old money at Texas. And now they're going to have to show y'all that we got old money at Texas, and that's exactly what they're doing by putting on this reportedly $35 to $40 million roster. That's what it takes to win in college football now. That's what it takes, and Texas is going all out, and that's why I have Texas as one of those top teams coming into next year because of stuff like that, because they know this is what it takes for us to win, and they're cool with that going out and saying, hey, we're cool with that. If this is what it takes for win, we'll go out here and do this to be able to go out there and get a win. So I like it from Texas. I like what Texas is building. Can't wait to watch Texas. And they got Ohio State, what, week 1 or week 2?
Week 1.
They got Ohio State week 1. So we're going to see very, very soon if Arch Manning can play. We're going to see very, very soon if Julian Sayin can play. Because only reason Julian Sayin is probably not getting more hype is because of Arch Manning. Or they will be talking about Julian Sayin as the next one. He was one of the top recruits coming out of high school a couple years ago. Decommitted from Alabama and left and went to Ohio State. I seen what was the kid from College Park that was really good that went to Ohio State and transferred at quarterback? Can't think of his name. Aaron Nolan. He went to South Carolina, and I'm like, man, why did you go to South Carolina if you know for a fact Lenore Sellers is going to play for the next 3 years?
Yeah, he's not going to play.
I was kind of shocked by that. I don't know. That move didn't make any sense to me. That Aaron Nolan. I understand why he left Ohio State, but to leave Ohio State and then go somewhere else where you're not going to play, I didn't get that.
He older than him too, right?
I want to say they're the same age. I want to say they're the same class.
Same class.
I think Lenore's, Julian Sayin, and Aaron Nolan. I think they're all the same class.
Yeah, same class. Why would you? You know what? I mean.
And this is, and to flip this on another SEC team, this is why Georgia don't be winning anymore, man. How in the world is Aaron Nolan from College Park in the south side of Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
And why has he got to go to Ohio State and then transfer from Ohio State to South Carolina? How is Aaron Nolan not the starting quarterback for Georgia this year? Because I wasn't thrilled by I can't remember my guy's name that ended up having to play the rest of their season. I wasn't thrilled by any of his play, and that's supposed to be your starter going into next year. So I don't know how Aaron Nolan gets out of Georgia twice at this point. How he got out of Georgia twice? Georgia got to do better on that part. But staying with some football topics here, NFL owners have approved NFL players will be able to play in the 2028 Olympics for flag football. Now, this is one that a lot of people were waiting on to see how this was going to go. Are we going to send some random guys over there? Because 2028 is a big year because the Olympics are back in America. It's going to be in L.A. So, obviously, America wants to completely and totally dominate every single sport that they possibly can with it being in L.A., as we should. That's what you're supposed to do whenever you're hosting the Olympics. You're supposed to dominate. If you're for Americans, we expect to dominate every sport anytime we play. But especially with it coming to L.A., we got to be able to dominate in that. Now they're saying NFL players. Do you think this is going to be, top guys? Are we going to see Jettas, Jamar Chase, Lamar Jackson, these type of guys? Or will we see some second and third tier guys that are still going to be really, really good? Honestly, it don't matter who we send. We're going to destroy whoever we play in flag football, as we should. But do you think it's going to be like top guys, or is this going to be some guys that are in the NFL?
You might see some second to like third tier players. You might see a number one out there. You might see about probably two number ones out there, but I don't think some of the top guys will go. I feel like it's gonna be maybe second and third tier players really. But either way, it don't really matter. We could put college players out there.
Facts. That's what I was thinking.
We'll still kill.
Oh, college, they wouldn't want to see that. Everybody's young and athletic. No, man, they don't.
Yeah.
College might actually be worse than the NFL. NFL, them dudes is rich. They just gonna be out there just to have a good time. And it's in LA. They're gonna party every night. They're gonna do all this stuff. College, I know those kids will want to make a mark. I would rather send college over there.
Yeah.
If we played our NFL guys, we're gonna win. If we send college, like first team All-Americans from college to the Olympics, we're gonna win by 100 every game. We're gonna win every single game by 100, which we might do anyway. These are some of the guys I would like to see. If they put these dudes out here, we're not losing. Well, we're not losing regardless. But we're not going to win by anything less than 50. If we see Justin Jefferson out there, we see a Jamar Chase out there, a CeeDee Lamb at receiver out there, you put Jahmyr Gibbs in the backfield. On defense, you put guys like Pat Surtain, Fred Warner. If you start putting guys like that out there, come on, man. Come on. Other teams won't get a first down. That's what we're gonna see. We're gonna see other teams not getting the first down. It's gonna be nothing but turnovers and touchdowns. That's how we're gonna see the entire time. So I'm actually kind of interested to see how are they gonna try to do this. I think the college thing is a good point, like you brought up, them going and getting guys to play from college, because I think that makes the most sense to me. But with the NFL players approving this, as we've seen the NFL trying to do, they're trying to expand the game. We watched them play, in Brazil last year. They played in Mexico the last few years. They're trying to expand the game. There's supposed to be an NFL Africa coming soon. They're trying to expand out into Africa and get more guys from out there to start playing. So they're expanding the game. This is a huge way for them to do it, and I think that's why NFL owners signed off on it. So go ahead.
No, I was saying I agree. I have been seeing that they've been trying to expand the game and everything. Similar to like how basketball was back in like the early 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just so far ahead. It's not going to be fair.
Yeah, if we send our top guys, whoever we send, it ain't going to be fair, and it shouldn't be fair. If football is our number one thing, we shouldn't let nobody should score. We should be upset if somebody scores in the Olympics. And I know it's flag and it's not contact and all this kind of stuff. I don't care what it is. Anything that they're calling American football, no other team should score on us. And we should never not score. We should score every time we touch the ball, and they should never score. That's how it should be. So that's what I'm hoping to see. Obviously, there's a lot of time between now and 2028 when the Olympics come, so they'll probably have to define the rules more. I know this will be the first time that they're going to do any of that and having them go out there and play. So they're going to have to define the rules a little bit more and lock everything in. But I'm excited to see it because I've been waiting for them to do some type of football thing in the playoffs. So I'm excited to see that. Switching over to a little bit of WNBA before we go to our NBA topics here as we talk about the Western Conference Finals that are getting ready to come on in about an hour here on ESPN. Caitlin Clark starts off the season strong as she scores a triple-double in a blowout victory as the Indiana Fever, who are playing right now on NBA TV, matter of fact, playing against the Atlanta Dream. Indiana Fever blow out the Chicago Sky. Caitlin Clark drops a triple-double. I said this yesterday on the show. You know, the whole narrative last year with Caitlin Clark was, oh, well, she's coming in and she's bringing all this money, but she's not one of the best players. She's just kind of getting hyped up and all this. Hey, that's over with. Caitlin Clark is one of the best players in the WNBA already, right now, today. She's already showing y'all that from what she did last year. She's starting off the season now with a triple-double to start the season. She already one of the best players. So y'all can cut that out. The part I don't like is this Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese stuff. They've been forcing this rivalry, and it's really never been a rivalry in my opinion. Yes, maybe LSU, Iowa was a rivalry, but they tried to paint this thing of – they tried to paint it to be black and white. Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. I never liked any of the takes on this, on the Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark thing. I never liked any of the, oh, well, Angel Reese is Caitlin Clark is only getting this much love because she's white and she's doing this. Okay, some of that might be true, but it's not like she's asking for it. It's not like she's got some type of whites only tattoo or something. Like, she's not asking. She's just hooping. On the other side, when comments were made last year from Angel Reese, like, you know, all this new attention WNBA is getting, it's because of me and her. It ain't just because of her. I'm like, okay, you know, I get it. You're popular. But, like, they post your highlights, like, on the Shade Room, bro. They're not posting your – like, it's never been that close of a comparison to me between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. I think Caitlin Clark is way better than her. Now, with that being said, there were comments made by other people, one of them being a Central Texas legend and Robert Griffin. Him and Ryan Clark have kind of had a back and forth on this, and Ryan Clark said some stuff. I'm not going to bring that onto the show because I don't even want to get people started up. But what I will say is Ryan Clark did make some good points in that, and RG3 has said some very, very corny things, not just with this Angel Reese thing, because pretty much he said Angel Reese just hates Caitlin Clark. That's why she got up and reacted like that, is because she's always hated Caitlin Clark. And I think that's just another narrative of them trying to fuel this rivalry that's not really a rivalry. Caitlin Clark's rival was Paige Beckers, who's now in the NBA, who's now in the Dallas Wing. That was her rival. It was never Angel Reese. Like, they tried to force that thing, and it makes them downgrade and denigrate Angel Reese for no reason. It makes people denigrate Caitlin Clark for no reason on the other side of it. When these are honestly just two good basketball players. Caitlin Clark just happens to be the new face of the league, and honestly one of the best players in the league now. Remember Diana Taurasi and all them saying, oh, well, she's going to have a huge adjustment. She's not going to come in here and step in here and be – hey, I'm glad you retired, DT. Because did you see what Caitlin was doing to them girls on Chicago the other day and what she's going to be doing to the rest of y'all throughout the – I'm glad you retired because now she is going to be one of the best players in the league. What do you think about Caitlin Clark and her start to the season and then just all of this noise of Caitlin Clark once again? We just started the season and now all the noise has started back up again.
I mean, yeah, I agree with you, man. She already one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
And I even said it last year, you know, when they first got drafted, that I felt that going into the league that she was going to be one of the better players in the league just because her game is just, she's that cold.
Yeah.
That cold. And I personally just feel like some people just don't like her because she's a really cold white girl.
Yeah.
She a cold white girl. She be out here killing them. And they don't like that. The girl has done nothing to be disliked. She doesn't really, you don't really hear her just you know,
I never heard her say the
say,
wrong thing. People say she talks
yeah,
noise on the court and all this. What you
yeah,
supposed
but
to do?
everybody do. Yeah, everybody gonna talk noise on the court, but like I don't ever see anything off the court with her, even the way she carry herself. You know, you don't really see anything that's alarming from her. So you know, she just get on the court, she does her thing, and then you know that's it. And that's not to shoot no shots towards Angel Reese, even though you know because it is things off the court that I just be wanting her just to focus on playing basketball.
Focus on hoop, man.
It's just hoop. She's trying to put her hands in too many different places. Whenever at the end of the day, you a hooper, just hoop. We all came to know you from hooping.
Yep.
But at the same time, people do be fueling the fire whenever it never was a rivalry, really. To me either, it really wasn't a rivalry. They're both two really good basketball players. And Caitlin Clark just happened to be pretty much the face of the league at this point, or one of the new faces of the league in the WNBA for sure. That's making a lot of noise. I mean, she averaging a triple-double. You know, I hate that we even got to talk about this because it's like old news.
Yep.
It's like old news at this point. Just let these girls, you know, go out on the court, do what they do, and that's it, man.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we got to keep doing this same. I don't want to do it all year. I want to cover the WNBA. One, because I have to have something to talk about during the summer, and the WNBA is on, and I actually enjoy the WNBA and what they have going on. So I want to talk about them more. I don't want to talk about Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese because I don't think there's anything to talk about with that. I love Angel Reese and what she's been able to do. She's been able to change her family's life on and off the court with the money that she's made, and I commend all of that. I don't want to talk about Angel Reese, though. Just being honest. Caitlin Clark's one of the best players in the league. Angel Reese not top 50, in my opinion. Some people might feel otherwise, but you're just not watching the game. You cannot watch the game and then say, because you'll hear people say, well, man, they just hyping Caitlin Clark up because she's white. Angel Reese really better than her. I'm like, man, y'all not watching any type of basketball if y'all saying that.
They're not watching the game.
You can't
They're not
watch
watching
that.
the game. There's no way. There's no way, bro. And to me, her game has been going more downhill just because, like I said, she has her hands in too many different things. That's why we want her to just focus on hooping.
All I'm saying is Angel Reese going to have them Bill Russell stats. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's like, man, she had 18 rebounds. I'm like, bro, 9 of them is her offensive rebound from a missed layup. Like, I get it.
Missed layup.
But, like, bro, I'm not going to commend you for going 3 for 19 and having 19 rebounds. I'm not going to do that. Yes, she has 19 rebounds, but I'm not going to – those are the Bill Russell stats. That's how Bill Russell got all these stats of. He had 20 and 20. Well, it's because he missed 20 layups, and he got 20 rebounds from his missed layups. That's why he got 20 and 20. So it's got to stop, man. Let's just watch hoop. I seen Jeff Teague say this on his podcast before. Now, we critique all these dudes in the NBA, and we get to say people is trash and all that, and people are good and all that. If we're going to cover the WNBA this summer, which I'm going to do, just like Jeff Teague and them were talking about, we got to be able to say the same thing about the hoops. It's not being biased or anything like that. I'm just trying to cover the game. So if somebody gets crossed out their shoes, we're going to talk about it. If Caitlin Clark, gets another triple-double, we're going to talk about it. A'ja Wilson's the best player in the league by far. I think A'ja Wilson is on the trajectory of being considered the GOAT in the WNBA. Let's talk about that. We don't have to talk about a rivalry that's not even there. The Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever not rivals. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese don't even play the same position. Like, so what are we doing? Let's just talk about the teams that are good and critique the game. And I just want to be able to watch the game. So let's just keep it at hoop is all I'll say about this Caitlin Clark thing to start it off. I ain't going to go as far into Ryan Clark was talking about RG3 wife and all that. I ain't going to get into all of that. I thought that was funny, but I ain't going to get into all of that with what they got going. I'm going to let that beef stay between those two guys. But the WNBA is off in full effect once again. Like I said, Indiana Fever playing right now against the Atlanta Dream. Indiana Fever got more nationally televised games than I've seen the stat. It was like the Colts. Then they're gonna have more games than the Indiana Hoosiers. Football, like they're the number one attraction up there, and a lot of that is large part due to Caitlin Clark. Going over to some NFL before we close out the show and talk about the NBA a little bit in this conference finals. A couple of extensions were handed out. One of them being Nick Sirianni gets his extension from the Philadelphia Eagles as they were able to win the Super Bowl last year. This is one that everybody saw coming. PJ, what did you think about Nick Sirianni getting that extension from the Philadelphia Eagles?
I mean, it's only right. He's been having his team, I mean, pretty much in big games ever since he's gotten there. He's very consistent. So he deserved this. I mean, he just won a Super Bowl too. So that's really good for Philadelphia for sure. Because like I said, he's a consistent coach, and he's continuing to have this team in all the big games, whether it's a Super Bowl, NFC Championship game, or just consistently in the playoffs. Period. You already know with him coaching the Eagles that they're going to be somewhere in the talks of possibly winning the Super Bowl or getting to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Philly has been, since Nick Sirianni has been there, Philly's been one of the best teams in the NFL. They've gone to 2 Super Bowls. They've won one of them. Nick Sirianni is a guy that you either love or hate for most people. I like Sirianni in Philly. I think he embodies that Philly team and the Philly fan base to the point that he turn around and argue with the Philly fans. It's not too many coaches you're going to see turn around and start arguing with their own fans in the middle of a game. That's the type of guy Nick Sirianni is, and I think that's what the city of Philadelphia is like. So I like it for them. Obviously, he just won the Super Bowl, so he gets rewarded and gets that contract extension. The other contract extension that was handed out, this one is one that I have the opposite take on. Brock Purdy getting $265 million, 5-year deal from the San Francisco 49ers as they finally close out that deal in San Francisco, inking their quarterback. Also, they signed Fred Warner, 3 years, $63 million, make him the highest paid linebacker in the league. Much deserved. Fred Warner's been the best linebacker in football for at least 2 years, in my opinion. 2 to 3 years, in my opinion, for them. So his extension makes a lot of sense. The Purdy one, I get it on some parts. Of course, you have a quarterback that you feel like have done something, you got to pay him. This is just what the market is, yada, yada, yada. I think at most, he should have got a Sam Darnold type deal. Sam Darnold had a really good season for the Minnesota Vikings. He goes out and signs a 3-year, $100 million contract with the Seattle Seahawks. That's the type of deal I thought Brock Purdy was going to get. But instead, he gets a Trevor Lawrence, Dak Prescott type of deal. And I said all offseason and all last season, when they pay Brock Purdy, it's going to be the start of the end of their dynasty. And I honestly think that's what this is with the 49ers. What do you think about Brock Purdy getting that $265 million extension?
Yeah, $265 million for 5 years is insane. I understand he's a young QB too, so you're trying to really just have him for a while. But yeah, no, that's kind of crazy to me. It's gonna come back to bite them. Definitely because y'all just lost some guys and y'all really didn't acquire anyone that I seen that was going to take your offense to that next level right now. I mean, y'all just lost Debo. Didn't they lose Brandon Ayuk, or they're probably going to lose him still?
Well, they have him because they gave him that big deal, but he coming off a torn ACL from last year.
Yeah, so yeah, that's you know, I don't really know, man. These teams, they just be putting themselves in positions that, you know, 5 years from now, 6 years from now, it hurts them. And so, yeah, I can't really agree with that. I mean, like you said, Sam Darnold signed, yeah, that's what they should have probably got. But they should have gave him, I mean, like the amount of money that he got. But 265, I was shocked. I was at work actually when I seen it come up on ESPN, and I couldn't believe it.
Like, come on, bro. I understand he's outplayed his contract, Mr. Irrelevant, and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, there was a reason he was the last pick in the draft. Should he have been the last pick? Obviously, at this point, we can say no because he's played really well in the NFL already. But we watched him last year with no C-Mac, with no Brandon Ayuk, with barely any Debo Samuel, barely any George Kittle, and the 49ers are terrible. Matter of fact, they got last in their division. That's the guy you give $265 million to? And you're going to have to re-up on Nick Bosa if you want to keep him? You still got Trent Williams, you're paying a lot of money. You way overpaid for Brandon Ayuk. You did the same thing with Ayuk last year. You were so scared of losing him that you overpaid for him. Now he's coming off a torn ACL, and he already wasn't the number one receiver, in my opinion. Not the number one receiver that's going to get 120. I'd have traded him when he got T. Higgins or something like that if I'm going to go give somebody 120. So now I feel like they put themselves in a hole. You just paid Fred Warner too, made him the highest paid running back. So they got a lot going on in San Francisco. A lot of that being, I don't like what they did at the quarterback position. I'm just not a Brock Purdy fan. Can he go out here and prove me wrong? Sure. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think Brock Purdy's going to go out there and be more of the same of what we saw him be last year with the 49ers. Will the 49ers be better? Probably, because they'll be more healthy. But Brock Purdy is not the guy you give $265 million to. So we'll be keeping up with the 49ers and how that goes with them all season long. Folks, the NBA playoffs start. The Western Conference Finals start tonight. Minnesota versus Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City is obviously the favorite in this one going into the series. They're the number one seed. They're the best team left in the playoffs record-wise. I think they're the best team in the playoffs left just in general. The defense, they've had number one defense all year long. That is one of the main reasons why they got out of that last series against the three-time MVP and Nikola Jokic was their defense. Playing a Timberwolves team that's really, really tough. Julius Randle is playing the best he's ever played in his career, quite honestly. Anthony Edwards is still Ant-Man. We know he can take over a game. He's electric. Seeing that matchup with Shea and with Anthony Edwards. PJ, what's your first thoughts on this Western Conference Finals matchup? Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves versus Shea and the Thunder.
This matchup slowly been coming around. I feel like for the last 2 years, they never really met in the playoffs or anything, but you kind of seen it coming eventually. And I mean, the time is here now, pretty much. Ant and Shea, those two right now are like two of the. I can't even call them rising stars because I feel like they're already at a point where they pretty much are huge stars in the league. But they just two of the cornerstones of the NBA right now that everybody really talks about. Everybody kind of watch their game. Everybody break down their game. And just both teams are really good. Both teams, I feel like, defense is probably two of the best defensive teams in the league.
Yeah.
To be honest. Timberwolves for sure in the last like 2 or 3 years right now has been one of the better defensive teams in the league. Seeing with the Thunder, I feel like this year they took a step up when it came to defense, and so I'm excited really just to see this matchup. I got the Timberwolves coming out, but this is a 7-game series for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be a really, really fun series. I seen one of the Morris twins on ESPN earlier this morning saying it's going to be Oklahoma City winning in 5. I don't see that happening. I think it'll go longer than that. Really, what I'm more excited about is just the parity of the NBA. I watched the stat came out earlier that for the first time in league history, we've got a 7-year stretch now where we're going to have a different champion every single year. From 2019 all the way through this year, we'll have a different champion each and every year, which we don't see from the NBA most of the time. I saw Greeny on ESPN pointing this out. In the 80s, we had the Celtics and the Lakers. They won all the championships pretty much. In the 90s, Mike won all the championships with the Bulls. And then from the 2000s, really through the 2000s and the 2010s, only a few teams won. The Warriors got 4 chips out of there. The Spurs got 5. The Lakers got 5. And when LeBron was on the Heat, they got 3. Well, they got 1 with D-Wade and 2 with LeBron. So that's 3 or 4 teams that won almost all the championships for 20 years. Now we're starting to see, and a lot of that is due to the new rules in the players in the NBA negotiations and the players negotiations, where they put in this second apron to where now you can't really build a super team anymore. They're not going to allow you to pay that many guys because you're going to be penalized so hard by the salary cap if you start overpaying and going over your salary cap a lot, which they haven't done in the previous years. Before, you just had to pay a luxury tax. Now they're making it almost impossible for you to be able to keep all the guys together. Some people were mad about it, but honestly, with me being in the era where only 4 or 5 teams win in the last 20 years, I'm ready to see some parity in the league. I'm ready to see new champions. This year, we're going to get a brand new champion. Between the Knicks, the Pacers, the Timberwolves, and the Thunder, none of them have won. I think the last team to even win a title was the Knicks, and that was in 72 or 73. So we're going to get a new champ, and I love that seeing that in the NBA because as much as I did like seeing LeBron with the Heat and all that and the KD Warriors, we knew who was going to win every year. This year, we have no idea who's going to win, and going forward, in my opinion, the next few years, we have no idea who's going to be able to win. What do you think about this new parity going on in the league right now?
I love it because what I was going to say too was all these teams pretty much were a lot of their pieces that they got were drafted to this team.
Mm-hmm.
You got a few guys, I mean, like Brunson, of course, he got traded over there.
Still key pieces
Randall.
though. All of those guys got traded over there, but they were key. Those trades were just as big as drafting somebody.
Big draft, yeah, somebody, and then they still continue to draft guys around those key pieces on every team. And so these teams are nowhere near a super team. This is traditional. This traditional way to build your team up through the draft, get some guys through a trade maybe, but mostly through the draft and continue to just build up for years and years. And that's why I feel like all these teams are so successful right now, because these guys been playing with each other for the most part. Most of these guys have been. And you might have a new guy on the team, but most of these guys on all these last 4 teams that's in the NBA playoffs right now, they've been playing with each other for a few years. They've lost with each other. They won with each other. So these teams really know each other, in the locker room. And you can see it whenever they all on the court. So that's really what I'm excited. I love the parity, because whoever gets to the finals, man, out the West or the East, I'm going to watch it, just because I feel like either series with whoever plays against each other is going to be exciting. And one of these young guys is going to end up getting their first ring, whether it's Tyrese Halliburton, Anthony Edwards, Shea, or Brunson. One of these young guys is going to get their first ring, and, who knows what they can build from that, you know what I mean, if they probably get some more. But with the parity in the league right now, man, I mean, any year, you really don't know. You really don't know, the teams that we be thinking that's going to get to the finals don't end up getting to the finals. So, the parity right now is at an all-time high, and I'm loving it, because we coming off the 2010s where, like you were saying, it was even the 2000s and the 90s, if you've been watching that long, it all the way back to the 80s, to be honest, man. It was guaranteed.
You knew who was going.
Yeah, it was guaranteed every year pretty much at some point in certain decades. When we was growing up in the 2000s, it was always the Lakers, the Lakers or the Celtics later on. You know what I mean? That's why the Pistons winning was such a huge thing back then, because everybody thought that the Lakers was just going to come through and kill them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
there was only a couple of teams, that Pistons being one of those. You look at the Raptors in 2019, teams that kind of snuck in and won. Outside of that, it's been all favorites. Dallas in 2011. Outside of those few runs, we knew the Spurs were going to go to the finals. We knew the Lakers were going to go to the finals, especially in the 2000s. Yeah. See, the Spurs and Lakers going to win.
The Spurs, yeah.
Nobody else is winning. Either the Spurs or the Lakers going to win. You pick. Boston came in there and got 1. But outside of that, the Lakers got 5 rings in that era. The Spurs got 4 in a 10-year stretch. So they completely and totally dominated in that era. So seeing this parity right now, like you said, we're gonna see one of these young guys completely change the way that we look at them in NBA history forever. If Brunson gets a ring, that changes everything about how we view Brunson. Same with Hallie, definitely with Anthony Edwards, and same with Shea as well. So this is a great opportunity not only for them, but for fans, for the NBA, for teams to be able to grow. Because we talked about it a little bit last week. I hate the draft lottery. I actually hate the draft lottery. I think they should. Whoever the team is that wins, or is the worst team, they get the number 1 pick. Because if not, you get what we got right now with the Wizards and the Hornets, where you just trashed my whole life. I'm almost 30. And there's been almost zero meaningful basketball for certain franchises because of this draft lottery. No, they're not going to let you get the number 1 pick, because we don't care. Nah. We don't care if the Hornets – no one cares if the Hornets are sorry. No one cares if the Wizards are sorry.
They got to kill the lottery, bro. It's ruining stuff. Like, it's ruining certain organizations, bro. Because they can't even really just – I mean – I don't know. I feel like if you're the worst team in the league, why shouldn't you automatically have the first pick?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't even understand the lottery, bro. I don't understand that.
It's the NBA's way to be able to control what's going on, in my opinion. That's the only reason I can see why you do it. Because there's no way that the Mavericks trade away Luka Doncic and then get Cooper Flag that stuff doesn't happen.
They're the only league that does that. They're the only league that does it.
Only one. It's terrible. I completely and totally hate the draft lottery. I think they need to get rid of it. Washington won 18 games. 18. And I think they got the 5th pick maybe in the draft. And they won 18 games. Charlotte won 19 games. And they got the 4th pick. Like what? How are they ever supposed to get good? And somehow the Mavericks made the playoffs, or at least made the play-in, and they got the number 1 pick. The Jazz won 17 games. Like they won 7 out of 82. The Utah Jazz won 17 games. And I don't even think their pick is in the top 5. So, I mean, they got to stop this, man. I know y'all want Wemby to be good with the Spurs. Because how'd the Spurs get the number 2 pick? And the Spurs won 34 games. I just named 4 of the teams that won in the teens of games. They didn't even get 20 wins. And the Spurs got the number 2 pick. And Dallas, who got 40 wins, got the number 1 pick. You got to throw the draft lottery away. This is terrible. Do like the NFL. That's why we see parity within the NFL, because even though organizations are dumb, they're going to give the Cleveland Browns as many chances as possible to get it right. They're going to give certain teams as many chances as they possibly can for you to go out there and get this right. If they don't get it right, it's completely on you. You can't blame the league. You can't say there's no collusion. You can't say we like teams more in bigger markets. You can't say none of that. You mess it up, it's your fault. And that's how it should be. With the NBA, we don't get that. And I'm glad that we're starting to get a lot more parity like we were just talking about. But the draft lottery thing, that's got to stop. We're going to get that new champion, though, this year, and we're going to see, like you just said, teams building the right way finally paying off, with the Knicks. They made that trade for Brunson. Not like Brunson was the number 1, or they got him in free agency. It's not like he was the number 1 free agent out there available. They believed in him, and it worked. Halliburton, they traded Sabonis away, who was Indiana's best player, to get Halliburton. So they had to take a risk to go and get him. Same with Shea. They went and traded Paul George away, and they got Shea back for him. So they had to take a chance on him. He turns out to win the MVP. Minnesota got the number 1 pick, and everybody was saying James Wiseman. They didn't fall for that. Everybody else was saying LaMelo. They didn't fall for that because neither one of those turned out to be great picks, even though I like LaMelo, but he plays the most meaningless basketball in the NBA. He just shoots random shots and loses by 40 and gets in the Hellcat after and goes live. So like he plays the most meaningless basketball maybe in NBA history, in my opinion. They don't even how you don't win 20 games, bro? 20? You averaging 30 and your team don't win 20 games. You're just doing anything. Those stats don't mean anything, in my opinion. That doesn't make any sense. How do you average 30 and you don't even win 20 games? In the East. This is one of the weakest East I've seen, too. And you in the East and you didn't even win 20 games. But all the teams in here have done it the right way. Like you said, looking back at this Oklahoma City and this Timberwolves matchup, who do you think takes this one tonight? Oklahoma City is at home, but they're just coming off a 7-game series, and they just played Game 7 on Sunday, even though they blew them out. So their starters didn't have to play the full way through. Minnesota's been sitting at home chilling for a few days. They get back on the flight, head back out to Oklahoma City. This is a huge game, in my opinion, for the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is a game that you can come out here and try to steal because Oklahoma City's been hyper-focused on the Nuggets, trying to just get past that series. Meanwhile, Minnesota's been able to kind of sit back, rest, and now you're going to play a team that, in my opinion, is way more physical than the Denver Nuggets when you talk about these Minnesota Timberwolves. Because I know Oklahoma City is much more talented, like I've already said. The Timberwolves got something that you can't teach or you can't trade for, and that's dogs. Julius Randle is a dog. Anthony Edwards is a dog. Like, they got guys that don't care about getting scrappy, don't care about being physical, any of that kind of stuff, and they got to use that to their advantage. In my opinion, they got to come out and try to strike first in Game 1. But who do you see winning this one tonight, game coming on in about 30 minutes?
I got the Timberwolves in this one. I think that, the layover from Sunday to now, that's not enough time to rest. That's not even enough time to really preview the team that you're playing. To me, it's not really enough time. And to be honest, with both of these teams splitting the series 2-2 in the regular season, that doesn't really say a lot because neither team in all 4 of those games really were healthy or even really had their whole starting 5. And so I think the one time that the Timberwolves did have a starting 5, they weren't hitting on all cylinders yet, and this was like in December or November. So that doesn't really say a lot.
No, that's a
You
whole
know,
different season now.
it's a different season at that point. The biggest thing that's gonna come down to is I don't think that Chet can really. I think that this is a series. This is Julius Randle. This is his series.
Yes.
He's gonna have to just be playing how he's been playing. Just play his game. I think that he can end up being too physical for Chet.
Yes, for
I
sure.
I don't think that Chet is going to be able to really just withstand him. And you know, we're going to see once the game start. But I really think that he's going to be too physical for Chet. And also, Rudy Gobert is going to have to really step up in this series as well and be physical as well. I think that the guards that the Thunder do have, like, you know, Lou Dort and them, they can play. They can kind of. They're not going to slow Ant down, but you can stay in his face.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? These guys are just as young, just as athletic. They can stay in his face. But that's why I say this is really going to be Julius Randle, his series, because I think he's going to end up being too much. I think he's going to end up being too much for Chet and any other big guy that they want to throw at him, or him, or Rudy Gobert. So the big guys are really going to have to take over for this series. And I think they didn't have enough rest, you know, to come into this game and really, you know, make a point, man. Make a point in the first game. Hopefully that they don't come out as slow as they did against the Warriors in game one.
Yeah.
But even if they do, though, man, I think the Timberwolves eventually will pick it up. But tonight, I'm pulling for Timberwolves probably.
Yeah, I like Minnesota in this game. I know the Thunder are the favorite coming out of this, but I just don't like them having to come out of this 7-game series. Ant's got to be aggressive, and you pointed out the biggest part of this all. If Julius Randle plays like he did last series, Timberwolves are going to the finals. I think it's that simple. They have a lot of great guard defenders they can throw at Anthony Edwards. They don't have a lot of guys they can throw at Julius Randle. Yeah, Chet is bigger than him, height-wise, but Chet looks like he's like 190 pounds, and he's 7'3". You don't want to look like that and play against Julius Randle. And on the other, they got Hartenstein as well, but then you got to match somebody up with Rudy Gobert. And as big as their starting five is for the Thunder, they don't have any size coming off the bench. So if one of those dudes getting foul trouble, now we're going to start seeing the lanes open up. Now we're seeing Anthony Edwards drive to the cup. Now we're seeing Julius Randle putting his head down and driving to the cup. So I like Minnesota in this game. I like the Thunder in the series, but this is going to be a really, really fun series. Quick before we get off here, the Knicks and the Pacers tomorrow. Who do you like in that game? Tyrese Halliburton and Siakam, all those guys have been playing great for the Pacers. Rick Carlisle doing a great job. The Knicks, Jalen Brunson's been playing great. Karl Towns keeps switching his voice up. Who do you think is going to be able to come out with a victory in tomorrow's game for the Knicks and the Pacers?
Where is it going to be in Madison Square Garden? Or is it going to be in Indiana?
It's in New York.
Madison Square Garden. I feel like this series right here is going to be a little different from the Thunder and the Timberwolves. I feel like the teams that are going to be at home probably are going to most of the time get the win at home.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's why this is going to a 7-game series, because at some point somebody's going to have to get a win away. Mm-hmm. And that one win away is going to possibly be the game changer on who wins the series.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
I think this is a super, super even series between these two. And I actually think the home team is going to win every single game. That's why I think the Knicks are going to the finals. I think they'll probably win all the games at Madison Square Garden. But I think Indiana's going to win all the games in Indiana. So
yeah,
this is going to be a super fun one. But you can keep going with who you said about tomorrow.
Oh, but no, yeah. So the Knicks for sure tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. I agree with you. That's why I say it's going to come down to really for the Pacers. If it goes to 7, because Game 7 will be in Madison Square Garden, it's going to come down to if they can get a win away. Or even beforehand, if the Knicks can get a win at the Pacers, one of these teams is going to have to try to do that, but I don't really see that happening. So I got the Knicks possibly coming out in this series. But for sure tomorrow, I got them taking Game 1.
Yeah, I got the Knicks taking Game 1. We're going to see Spider-Man and Timberland boots again on the streets of New York, and everybody hanging off light poles, all type of crazy stuff. Yeah. I seen Spider-Man taking shots at Henny, man. This is just getting crazy. This is getting outrageous. I'm telling y'all now, I hope the National Guard is ready. I hope Trump doesn't say anything stupid, and we have to do anything with our military in the next 3 weeks. Because if the New York Knicks win this NBA championship, all sources must go there. Because it's gonna look like a revolution or something is happening downtown or any part of New York.
Yeah.
So
You're gonna need everybody.
Yeah, you're gonna need everybody out there for them. I seen Tyrese Halliburton bought tickets for that dude that was getting trash bags thrown at him by the Knicks fans the other day. So I guess that was nice for Tyrese Halliburton. But for anybody else in New York, please don't wear anything Indiana Pacers in New York. I actually fear for your safety of what they're gonna do. The streets of New York is wild right now. You do not want to be out there if you're not wearing Knick paraphernalia. If you're not from there, just find you a Knick hat or something in one of them stores and just put that on so you can be safe, because right now everybody's on 10 out there in New York. But folks, we're out of time here today. Want to thank everybody for tuning in with us here on Centex Primetime. We're going to be back tomorrow, same time, same place as we always are. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, subscribe to the YouTube. Make sure you go up there and hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Also, you can click the bell and get notified whenever we go live here 5 to 7 p.m. on Centex Primetime. You can follow me. You can see the ticker at the bottom at Jalen Gillis on Instagram. You can follow this show on Instagram at Centex Primetime over on Instagram. I want to thank PJ for jumping on here with us again today. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow, everybody. So we will see you then. Everybody have a great evening.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-25